Next thing we're going to do is to put the base colours in, like we did with all of these, in the section below. Now, what I'm going to do is use a bit of green and blue, and this is going to be quite a loose wash. This is for the water. So we're going to put the water in here, and a little bit of Payne's grey as well. I think we'll add a little bit to it, because we don't want it to be too strong. And this is a bit of Sap Green, and a bit like the sky really, although not quite so critical. We want to keep a bead of water going, because once it dries, and the other thing is, when you're doing water, you want to leave little ripples in, little white ripples. Can you see that? More than when we get close than the distance side. We'll go around in there and into here. Some areas you've got to be careful with, like that. We want the post to be fresh now. You see how I'm using the flat brush? I'm leaving just not. You don't want too many. You just enough to. You just have a few more down here, and have a little bit more, a little stronger colour down here as we move down to the bottom. See, I like the idea of that ripple there. Okay, and then into between there. Yep. And then it's going to be along here. Once again, just a few more. Yes, yes. I think I've done enough. Get rid of the odd one or two. Make it look a little bit more. That's it. Okay, that would be fine. I mean, we need to go back over the water again a little while, but we'll leave that at the moment like that. I think. Great. Now let me just. We can't work close to the edge of the water, but we can get out the back here. If I can find my 6 brush, here we are. I'm going to put some green, ochre colour in here. Now this is a similar idea to what we were doing just up here earlier on. We want to put colours into it, so let me just do that first of all. Then some ochre and some raw umber. Stick a little bit of that in as well. So we don't want just green. In fact, I like the idea here of having a pathway there. So I'm just going to wet that down there, and you'll see it makes sense in a minute. Okay, that's fine. I think that's probably all I want. I'll come back to that. Now these not distant hills, these hills are the same idea. Green, a little bit of ochre, a bit of raw umber. Don't want it too green. And quite loose. That's why I've got a little bit of water on there. I don't want them to be too strong. We can come back later. I won't mind if that does drift into the water there. I think it's going to, but would have looked okay. And same over here, a bit of green. These are going to be reeds. Quite a lot of work going to be put into these in a little while. But why I'm doing this is I'm just getting the foundation base colours in. We can work with them. And I'll show you all of this later on as we progress. A lot of license with this kind of watercolour. You can really do wonderful things with it. I don't want that to come. I want that to come back a little bit. I don't want it to be too artificial there. That looks good. I like that. And then we'll use some ochre as well. A bit of earth in there. Yeah, you'll be amazed at what that's going to look like when it's finished. That's nice because we've got more strength there than there, which is great. And just while that's wet, let's just put a little bit of brown, a little bit of green in here. I like it white, I like it light there, I want to keep it light there. In fact, looking at that, I want to make that a little lighter, so we just wet the brush, dry it, and then it absorbs. That's fine, I want to keep that light over here. That's fine. Okay, now, I've got to wait really for that to dry off. You've got these peculiarities, can you see it there? I'll have to work on that in a little while, see what, I don't know what it is. It might have been a drop of water that splashed on it beforehand. I think that's dry enough for me to work on the edge of that. Now, I've got a little red boat there, which I want to put in. It's nice to have a little splash of colour in the middle. I'm going to put it red, but I'm going to temper it with a little bit of very dark red. This one here. It's always a good idea to put them in, and then you can work round them. Great. That will do. I'm not going to do the inside yet. I'm going to leave that. There we are. Our little boat. Now, can I do any more? Yes, I think I probably can. I can put a line along here now. This is again reeds and other bits and bobs, which we can put a little line along here. This is a mixture of green and ochre, but I want it to be quite dark. It was a little bit too far up. What that will do is go over the path that's going to run along there in a little while. Looks quite dark, doesn't it? But it does need to be, and I need to have that dark over here as well, darker. In fact, I can start doing that. And what it does, it leaves me this path that runs through. Great. A little bit of green in there as well. And a little bit of yellow. I think make it look rather attractive. Good. And not far to go with that. We make it a little darker in the on the base colour, just here. This sort of thing you can work when it's still slightly damp. Now you can see what I was talking about the path. Shows up nicely, and we can put some, there's a little bit of, twiddle it around. A little bit more depth in there. That's, to be honest folks, that's almost finished. Just want a little bit more. I think I'll leave it at that. I'll maybe put some little bit of green and a bit of yellow in here too. That's better. That's good. I think I'm going to leave that alone at the moment. That looks good. Okay, I think this is all dry, so we can go in now. I'm going to build a pathway. I'm going to switch to my number 6 brush now, and what I want to do is use just an off-white, really. So I'm mixing up a little bit of Payne's grey with some ochre and some raw umber. It's a very, very light wash. What I want to do, see, this is what I'm after doing. Now that looks dark there, but actually when that dries, it's going to be pretty light. That's great. I think I can probably come along here with it, can I? I can come along and then I can dab it off, because I don't want it to be that strong at that point. Well, that's fine. Now we're going to make I think we can do the inside of that boat now. I don't want it to. I want it to be quite dark, quite light. So what I might do here is just put a very light wash in there, just to say I've done it. It can just be a colour that we used back here. So, darkening the. I'm going to darken the red there. And just a little bit maybe there. I'm being very fussy now, but really I need to make that just a little more like a boat. All I'm doing is wetting the brush, and I think I'll do. Yeah, that's better. It'll look better when I finished it. I'll have to wait now because I've wet it. That'll work all right. That's fine. Okay, now we've got to darken. I haven't done this jetty. Here again, we don't want anything too fierce, so I'm going to use the same colour basically as I used back there. There's a little bit of ochre, a little bit of raw umber, and just a little touch of black, but not much. As we can see, that's the idea. Just put a little bit of colour in it. We can develop that shadowing in a little while, but we need some colour on it. It might be an idea just to put some raw umber. Yeah, that's just raw umber going on. Yeah, I like that. That'll look good. And the pathway, that can stay as it is. You've got to be careful, because if I start messing about with colours that are going to run into other colours, I'm going to be in trouble. But what I want to do is try to make this grassy bank look a bit more realistic. So let's mix a little bit of green up, a bit of ochre maybe, and we'll see what we can do. Let's start with this one. Oh, that's good. That's nice. And what we want to do is to try to leave some of the light there. We don't want to get rid of all the light. See the idea? Yeah, that looks good. Now I like it so much, I'm going to do it again. And I want to leave the light on the top, and just put it in there. And that looks good. Along this path, the edge of the path, so it leaves the path. I like it. A little bit of light ochre. And we can just put some light ochre, a bit sweet left. Ah, magic. Now I like that behind, and we need to darken it just a little bit, so I'm going to use it just a little spot, just a little spot of black added to the green and the ochre that we've used there, and then just make it just a little darker there. So we get and again just another contrasting tone, and we want to. Now, just there, I'm going to put some reeds up there. So I did this earlier on over here where you can leave some of the light. That's good, coming through. That's good. Now, again, use a little bit of yellow ochre and just fill it up. Great. I'll need to darken that a little more as time goes on. Now, what about these reeds? I think I'm going to leave that pathway there, but I have to turn this round, folks, because what I want to do now is use the same colours I've been using, except here what we want to do is to go like this. With all those ground colours I've got, and also light, I want to keep as much light as I can. Just do that for the moment. See what that looks like. Yes, that looks good. Now we're going to also make it that's a little more ochre down here. A little bit of ochre, a little bit of brown, and a little bit of dark brown. It's all mixed into it, so it makes it more earthy. Do that? And also coming the other way is quite nice too. You're going to probably have a lot of fun with this. This is probably one of the most difficult bits of this picture. Okay, let's just continue here. I'll try to do it this way up now. See the advantage of having a brush like this. If you had just had the other brush, the number 6 brush, a round brush, you wouldn't really be able to get the effects that I'm getting here. And also I've got to say that the fact that I did put the base colour in there gives me something to look through. I'm looking through that. A little bit of yellow and lemon yellow. Now this would be nice. A little bit of lemon yellow I haven't used this yet, but this can be used as I did just a little while ago up there to sort of infill. You can see how that actually works. You can't do it the other way around. You'd think you could, wouldn't you? Light to dark with watercolour and white, but it doesn't work so well. This way it does really work well. And now that looks really good, I'm really happy with that, but we need some more, so we need some more depth in, a little bit of brown. Oh no, that's not going to work. Maybe a little bit of dark brown, let's try that. Yep, that'll do. You don't want too much of this, because it's going to make it too... I've left that light there for a reason, and you'll see in a minute. A little bit of dark brown, and maybe just a little spot of black. You've got to be careful with black. It's a nice colour, but it can be devastating to get it wrong. That looks good. Yeah, did actually work quite well there. Just pop it in. As I say, you're going to have a bit of a struggle with this, but persevere with it because it's good fun. Now all of this is going to be green, so what I'm doing is mixing a little bit of green and lemon yellow together. This is sap green and lemon yellow mixed together to give us a bit of green as well, so we've got a bit of green filtered through there. That's nice. I don't think you've got to be careful not to overdo this, so I think that's probably as far as I want to take it. And there's a little bit of extra, there's a bit of extra depth. That's a little touch of black I'm putting on there with the brown, but still got that's good. Like it. Okay, now I'm happy with that. We're going to have to darken the water again in a little while, but that's good. We're getting there. Now all of this at the back here is now dry. So we've got to make that. That was Payne's grey and ochre mixed together to give us this top of the boat. Well, it's not the top of the boat, it's on top of the boat, but it's actually the... That's good. It all ties up nicely. A little bit of dark now. Just a little bit of extra strength now. I'm going to put in just on the water's edge, using the I don't think I want to do any more back there. I'm just going, because it would be too much. So what I'm doing now is using number 6 to give myself a stronger colour at the bottom, and then we can, as you can see, put a few more reeds in. Then we get to there, it breaks away. It's the end. You can see why I want you to leave that path light, can't you? You can be looking through it. Good. I think that will do really well. A little dot it here and there with a little bit of ochre. Just, this is raw ochre really, just to give it a little bit of ochre in here as well. But I don't want to make that too dark, otherwise it'll all run together. Okay, that's good. Now the boat. I had a little bit of a problem with the boat just now, so I'm going to put a little bit of black, a little bit of red together. So I've got a nice strong mixture. See if I can make a bit better job of this. That's better. And then at the back there. That'll do. Now we've got our little boat in there. What about my little people? Now, little people are very difficult to do because, especially little tiny people like that. Now let me just do a couple. I'm going to put, there's one chap and there's another chap here. You can't put any detail in. All you can do is put colour in. A little bit of blue here. This chap's bending down. Okay, and I'll make that work in a minute. This chap standing up, he's going to have to be red. Okay, and then I want to make, I think I'm going to have brown, but I need to have a dark brown because it's got to be very, and this chap here is one leg, t'other leg. This chap is bending down. And he's got the boat there. And the other thing about that I think we better do while we're here is put a little bit of shadow on here, because a boat would create a shadow like that. Okay, well there's two little characters put in, and I think where are we going to go now? I think what we'll do now, I think it's the water. This is all nice and dry. I've got to go back over the water again. Now, we use the same colours as we did before. It was green and a bit of Payne's grey, and a bit of blue. And what we'll do now is I think what I'll do first of all is I'll put some of the colour in here. Now, what we've got to do is put some colour into the water. Let me show you. Again, you want to do this with your flat brush if you can, like that. Again, you can leave some of the colour there. You don't want to go all the way. Certainly don't want to go on that light bit. So that would be fine. So that's good. And then, because this is lighter here, we've got to make it darker around it. Okay, let's just do what we can here. A bit of Payne's grey. We'll come down here, like that. And leave that. And this will break up as you come down, further down, like that. Okay, now another area we've got is these two dark areas there, coming down. Same again. Now, I say that, but that's not going to be... It's going to be too wide, so we can't use that brush. Let's use this one then, number 6 brush. Now that will work. More tissue. Yep. Good. A little bit of red. For our boat. And I've also got to put in the harbour wall. Leave a gap between the two when you do this. Because otherwise you don't get that. See that line running down there? It looks really attractive, doesn't it? We've got a tree to put in as well. It's always a bit darker, the reflections. A little bit of trying to get the right colour. Okay, the tree starts about there. It doesn't have to be exactly the same colour because the water would be. And then here we can put into the tree, we can bring in, again leaving little bits of light. And then that fades as we come further in. Right. Sometimes you just have to play until it works. That's working quite well. Little bits of dark in these little windows. I've put a few squiggles and I'll make sure that they're on the reference picture too. A little bit of dark there could be useful. And a few little squiggles. That's it. Now, we're not far off the water now, so what we've got to do now is to bring in some areas across like this. Certainly down the bottom is going to have to be a lot darker down here. here. Oh my goodness, this is going to have to be quite a lot of weight. Just here. Again, I'm going to leave just a little gap there showing. Great. Okay. Now fill some of that in so it recesses back up. Good. Lovely. What about those little characters now? I've got a couple of little people there, and we put a little bit of red for him. Don't have to be anything special. And a little bit of blue for the other bloke. A little bit of blue, like that. Tap it off. And run the edge of the boat there. That's a little darker than now. I'll put a bit of blue in there. Now another area which I haven't done yet, which I've been leaving, but I'm going to have to do it now, is here. Just there, and it's quite dark, so it needs to be darker than that. Just under there, make a dark line. I'm using the dark greens with a little bit of black, and then it just fades back out. Because it's like a gap that goes in between, underneath there. We can use that. That's better. Okay. There's a little hole that goes back in. I don't really understand it fully, but anyway. Now another thing, while we're on this section, I'm going to put in some posts. Now normally you can put them in white, but I'm not going to put them in white. They are there, one there, one there, and one there. Good, that will do. Go along the edge of it. It's a nice idea just sometimes to just put a clarity to the picture. That's fine. So we've got our little posts in. We're nearly there now. All we've got to do now is to work out, I'm really happy with this. Just another little thing I've just thought about. What you can do here is, when all this is dry, you can just put a few little bits of, this is dark, Payne's grey, black, just a little bit of depth in. Maybe a little bit of green with that would perhaps work quite well. Yes, it does. Not too much of it. It just adds a bit of punch to it. I love that, I love that. And maybe a few little reeds can come out here. You can use any colour of this, but darker would be better. And they would wiggle down a little bit of... Good. Before I go and finish this off, which I'm going to do, I'm just going to do these jetty. Now this is, you've got to be careful that you don't make this too fussy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some shadow on it. That's too strong. You know it's too strong as soon as you put it on. You weaken the solution a little bit. That's better. Come along with that, and along with that. Make it a bit heavier. Better. A thinner line along the back, so there we are. And then for the posts. That's it, and they would of course be reflecting back in as well. Lovely. Good. Right, back into the last little bit now, which is going to look stunning. Now we've got this is quite a large area and it's got to be darkened. So we use the same idea that we've done before, a little bit of black, a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, mix and create some depth. This then would also reflect. You can do the reflections at the same time. Right, nearly there now, just a few little bits and pieces there to add on. And, right. Now when you get back here, you've got to be careful now when you come back because you're making it, I want to make it quite dark there so we have a nice relationship between that area, but now we've got to be careful. So I've now dipped my brush in water and just going to fade it back in. And again, once we got that, we then put our other colours in. A bit of brown, a bit of ochre, and then my lemon yellow. And we get a really nice finish to that. Lovely. Now that is pretty good. I don't think we get little things we can do, like for instance, I can just bring a few more dark bits using the same colours I've used before and up here. Just put a few more bits of reed in here. Leave as much light as you can. In fact, it would be nice if I made it a little dark up here, wouldn't it? You get the contrast then. Yes, and I think I'm really getting to the point where I don't want to do too much more. Now, when you get to this area in the front, this is the area I was telling you about what I would do something with. Well, you can see what you can do with it. Same idea as just up here, just put a bit of dark in. This is a foreground area, so it's going to have quite a lot of attention. And I don't think I want to do too much more. I like that bit there. So I think, to be honest, I think I've got to the point where I think I ought to leave it. Let me just tell you one thing that you can do if you want to. Now, this you don't have to do this, but it's something you can do. I've got a lemon yellow there, and I'm going to put a little bit in my palette, just a little bit. And then I'll actually show you this in a minute. Let me just do me cap up. You've got to, otherwise they dry up on you, folks. Let me just pull this round. In fact, I might have to pull back a bit because I'm a bit too close at the moment. There's my lemon yellow, and there's a little bit of Chinese white as well, which I used earlier on the blue sky. Okay, let's see what we can do with them. Dip your brush in water, and what you can do now, just make sure that white, that's beginning to dry up on me a little bit in the tube. That's not good news. And you can use the white for just little highlights. Let me just see where I can put a little highlight, maybe a little bit in there. Just a little bit in there. Anywhere you feel you want a little bit of light. Where else can I? Actually, to be honest with you, I don't think I need any more. Oh, I tell you what I will do. I'll put a couple of little stones in. It's all little rocks and stones. These are not very easy to leave, you see, so you can put them in. That's it. Don't want too many, I think that's probably enough. Add that. And also, while I'm there, you can also just put just a little bit of white on, little few ripples. look nice in water, like that. Just doing a bit more over here. You'll only see them when you're close up, you won't see them back here, so yeah. Okay, anyway, that's enough fiddling. No, Chinese, the lemon yellow is what I was going to show you. What you can do with that is you can just put little bits of interest in it. It especially works really well, as you can see, in the dark area. And strictly speaking, this it shouldn't be done. Should be able to be done. You can do it with oil, but you can't do it with this, really. But you can see it actually works really nicely. Now, I'm going to say, really, that this is finished, but let me show you a couple of little things that you may or may not wish to do. I'll just do a few more little embellishments there. Yes, you can put maybe just a little bit of red in there. I hope you can see that on the screen. Sometimes it's not easy to see. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just a little bit of wildflowers. A bit over there. Anyway, that's something I just play with. And let's just put a little bit over here as well. Sometimes you can just add a few little extra bits of brightness in your picture, like that. Otherwise, no, I think we'll call it a day. Well, there we are, folks. It's come up pretty well. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and you'll have a go at the other projects on the site. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.